Player ratings: Everton 0, Sheffield United 1 at Goodison Park. Gutless, pathetic, disgraceful, spineless, and yet pretty much sums up our home form this season, doesn't it? Our away form has been Champions League level, and our home form has been, I wouldn't even say League One level. I'd probably say Sunday League level, to be honest with you. We've been absolutely disgraceful, and it hurts, doesn't it? It really, really hurts to see, because these players, forget about the money, forget about their lifestyle, forget about all of that. These players play for Everton Football Club. I've grown up 22 years of my life supporting that football club, living 15 minutes away from Goodison Park. I'd give absolutely anything to just stand on the pitch at Goodison just for one game, just for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just so I can say I've played for Everton Football Club. I'd give me life to score a goal for Everton, so I could say I've scored a goal for Everton Football Club. And these players have gone out time and time again and acted like they couldn't care less. They couldn't care whatsoever that they're playing for Everton. They couldn't care whatsoever that they're in a fight for Europe. There's this old argument: these players don't care, they don't want to play in Europe next season. I don't subscribe to it too much, really. I'm more on the side of they're not good enough. They're just absolutely dreadful. But like I said, 22 years of my life I've supported this football club, and it makes me absolutely sick to my stomach to see performances like that tonight. Players not bothering showing up, not showing any spine, not showing any effort, not showing any grit, determination. Because if I was on that pitch, I wouldn't be walking off. I'd have to be carried off, because I'd have given absolutely everything. I'd have left blood, sweat and tears on that pitch before I walked off. Those players don't even need the kit washing after tonight. They haven't done anything. Anyway, let's get into the play ratings. We had all of that in the instant match reaction. Check that out if you haven't already. We'll get straight into it. Jordan Pickford. I've given Jordan a 7 tonight. I really don't think he's put a foot wrong whatsoever, to be honest. Again, he wasn't massively challenged. Sheffield United were much the better team for the entirety of the game, and they did get forward and they looked like they're more likely to score a second goal, but they didn't really create an awful lot of opportunities. The goal was nothing to do with Jordan Pickford. It was shocking defending. Alan got turned inside out far too easily. Ben Godfrey decided to allow 17-year-old striker on the back post to just put the ball in the back of the net, and it's shocking, isn't it? Jebedson was it, on the back post, and yeah, it's just absolutely it's dreadful. Really, it really is dreadful defending. But Jordan Pickford, I don't think he done anything wrong today. I really don't. Like I said, not a fault for the goal. Didn't do anything else wrong in the game. Made a couple of smart saves. Actually, come out to the halfway line on a couple of times, to get the ball and almost say get forward. He looked like the only player who really cared at times, who really wanted to get something out of the game. So Jordan's getting a 7. Seamus Coleman is getting a 2. Absolutely abysmal performance by Seamus Coleman today. Absolutely abysmal. And look, I love Seamus Coleman. He's been absolutely excellent. He's a Everton icon. He's been brilliant, this, that and the other. And he's had a relatively decent season. Certainly recently he stepped in and he's looked very good. But today he showed exactly why Everton need to be in the market for a right back in the summer. His crossing into the box was abysmal. He couldn't cross his arms today. And defensively, he doesn't offer much either, does he? Started again in that right midfield position. And I don't really understand what Carlo Ancelotti's watching, because Seamus Coleman can't play right midfield. He's not a winger. He hasn't got enough pace. He hasn't got enough stamina. And he's not got enough technical ability to play as a right midfield player. You've got to have a bit of creativity about. You've got to be able to cross a ball for a start, and he can't cross a ball. He's constantly frustrating me, Seamus. Every time he gets into a good area, it's almost like he thinks he's playing rugby and he can't pass the ball forwards. Everything sideways or backwards. He gets into a good area, he stops, he kills the momentum, and he passes it backwards. And it wasn't just him today. Look, everybody was dreadful, but I just don't think he had a great game whatsoever. And again, it's games like today which show that we're in desperate need of a right back this summer transfer window. So Seamus is getting a 2. Ben Godfrey is getting a 4. Again, not as great as the games whatsoever was. I think he was at fault for the goal, to be honest with you. Just completely and utterly leaves the young striker unmarked in the box and allows him to sort of run in behind him. I think that he's trying to play the offside trap. Why he's not just sticking to what he usually does and forgetting all of this modern day football and offside trap and all of that nonsense, and just sticking to your man and making sure that your man doesn't get in behind you, and he didn't, and he ended up getting in behind him, and that was the goal that obviously led to the defeat. Other than that, I thought Ben was alright for the rest of the game. I'm not going to give him any more than a 4, because he's at fault for the goal ultimately, as with the rest of the defence, to be fair. But look, again, ultimately, just not good enough. Not good enough by Ben Godfrey in that first 20 minutes. And whilst he was okay for the rest of the game and he was pretty solid and, he defended everything he needed to, he got in the way of a couple of blocks and he blocked one from McGoldrick in the last 10 or 15 minutes as well to see it out for a corner. He's at fault for the goal. Michael Keane, giving him a 5 again. Maybe he could have done a little bit better for the goal himself. He's not the player marking the striker, but he also doesn't really look like he knows where he is or what he's meant to be doing either. Which is really, really worrying. Again, throughout the rest of the game, he played, I think, one nice ball over the top to Richarlison, who tried to hit it on the volley, and I think the ball landed in our back garden next to Andre Gomez's shot against Villa the other night. But he tried a couple of long balls, Michael Keane. And I don't necessarily blame Michael Keane for this because, again, the midfield was abysmal and there was no creativity throughout the midfield. So I think Michael Keane maybe sort of thought he was going to take it upon himself to lash a ball into the box and try and create something that way. But, ultimately, again, more than, the majority of those passes were just straight into, Ramsdale's arms, and it was comfortable for Sheffield United to defend. So Michael Keane is getting a 5. Mason Holgate's getting a 3. Again, very nearly gifted Sheffield United the second goal with an awful back pass, an absolutely atrocious back pass. To be honest, I thought Mason in the opening 20 minutes was okay. I thought he was okay. But I thought everybody was okay until we conceded. I thought everybody looked relatively calm, relatively comfortable, passing the ball around well. And this is the issue with this Everton team, is we have no bottle, we have no spine, we don't have that mentality when we go a goal down to pick ourselves back up and go, do you know what, we'll go again. We went from a team that were passing the ball around relatively nicely and just making Sheffield United work to conceding one silly goal and then couldn't pass a ball 10 yards. Mason Holgate went from looking comfortable to making stupid mistakes and playing it right into the path of their centre forwards and, almost giving them a second goal. And this is the massive issue with Everton, is we're two ends of the scale. When everything's going all right and when everything's going well, we're all right with Sam. We'll play, we can play decent enough football. But when one thing goes against us, and this has been a problem for years, and it's something that we spoke about, Carlo Ancelotti coming in and changing, and he's looked like he changed it in certain games, but today it was evident when one thing goes wrong, nobody's screaming at each other, nobody's shouting at each other, nobody's getting behind each other and saying, come on, that's not good enough, we're better than that, pick yourselves up. Everyone just goes, oh, that's it then, we've conceded one goal, that's it, game over. Now we can't pass a ball 5 yards, now we can't cross a ball, now we can't shoot, now we can't score. And it's just that weak mentality, that absolute weak mentality that we've been riddled with for the entire season, especially at Goodison. And it's let us down again tonight. It's been the killer of us. But anyway, like I said, Mason's getting a 3. Not a very good performance by him. Obviously ragged off at half-time by Carlo Ancelotti. I think rightly so. Whether we see Mason Holgate, many more times in an Everton shirt, I don't know. There's been rumours about him leaving. I'm not too sure if there's anything really in those rumours. But to be honest with you, I thought he was really poor tonight. And like I said, Carlo Ancelotti wasn't having any of it, was he? Took him off at half-time for Sigurdsson, and, nothing really come of that either. But Luca Dean, then he's getting a 2 as well as Seamus Coleman. It's only fair. Both full-backs today were abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. We have no width in this team. Absolutely no width whatsoever. We don't have a natural winger. We don't have any midfielders with any real pace or ability to get down the wings and cross a ball. And I know Decore has, but he couldn't pass a ball 10 yards tonight either. And we really, really have relied on those balls in from Luca Dean and Seamus Coleman, certainly this season, more so Luca Dean. And the pair of them with Josh today. I said before about Seamus Coleman couldn't cross his arms. Luca Dean couldn't cross a box today. And by that I mean a piece of paper with a load of boxes on it. If he was to put a cross in one, he'd have probably marked the table he was writing on rather than the piece of paper. He was poor today. Really, really poor. And maybe it is a one-off game for Luca Dean. He's not usually like that. Usually he's pretty solid with balls coming into the box, but today every corner he attempted was dreadful. Near enough every cross he attempted was either too low, didn't get off the floor, or was too high and behind every one of our forwards. I just think he had a really, really poor game today. Into the midfield then, Alan. I've given him a 4, to be honest with you. You might think, a lot of these ratings, I might wake up in the morning and think, you know what, maybe I was a bit harsh there, but I don't care. We've just been beaten by a side that's been relegated for 5 weeks and had absolutely nothing to play for. And we're meant to believe as a fan base, these players were playing for a place in a European competition. Nonsense. Alan, I think's a fault for the goal. Just gets turned far too easily, absolutely far too easily. You know, like I said, no disrespect to Sheffield United, they turned up, they performed today, and they were well worth the 3 points, but we played Sheffield United. You know, we weren't playing bloody Barcelona, and Alan got turned as if he was playing Barcelona. Again, grew into the game slightly in the second half, looked a little bit more comfortable, but still just wasn't massively impressed with him today, so he's getting a 4. Abdoulaye Doucouré's getting a 6. Yeah, ran around a bit, didn't he? You know, used his energy, got about the pitch, tried to create things. You know, again, he was sort of linking up the play between everybody, but the issue that we had with Abdoulaye Doucouré tonight is the issue that we've had with Abdoulaye Doucouré for the majority of the season, is that he's such a vital player for Everton. He's so important. His energy is so necessary for this Everton team, but on the ball he needs to improve. His passing is not good enough. You know, I think he really needs to improve on that, but he done all right today, to be honest. I think out of the entire Everton team, I think Abdoulaye Doucouré is probably one you'd look at and go, yeah, you were okay today, so he's getting a 6. James is getting a 4.5, to be honest with you, and I do feel slightly sorry for James Rodriguez today, because there was times in the first half where he was playing some really clever balls in behind the defenders, and Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin just weren't screwed onto it. They just weren't, they weren't on the same path as James Rodriguez, and that's not surprising, to be honest. James's creativity is on a different level to what Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, are currently at. So when he's playing those clever balls in behind and he's playing them around the defenders and the strikers aren't getting onto it, I'm not massively surprised at that. But I think in the second half, James let himself down a little bit, to be honest with you. I think he lost his head a little bit. And look, you can say that's frustration, you can say that's showing a bit of fight, showing a bit of passion, which we want to see. But, you know, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter blaming Carlo Ancelotti. What's the James substitution? Why are you bringing James off? Why this? Why that? We can you know, talk about Ancelotti's substitutions all we like this season, and I've been very critical of Carlo and his subs, and again today probably should have brought Tom Davies on, to be fair. Why not bring Tom Davies on? Why isn't Tom Davies coming on in these games? He's the only player that gives a shit. He's the only player that's Everton through and through and will at least show a bit of grit and a bit of fight. Why isn't he coming on? But I honestly, I don't know if it's just me, I honestly had no issue with James going off, no issue, because he was struggling in the second half to get in the right areas. The first half, he was getting in the right areas and he was struggling to create because nobody was on the same wavelength as him. In the second half, he wasn't even getting in the right areas because he was doing the majority of his work defensively, and he was putting him... you know, he put in a couple of silly challenges, he got himself booked, and I think you could see on his face he was a little bit frustrated, and said in the instant match reaction, I think if James Rodriguez isn't subbed, I think he gets sent off, to be honest with you. I do, especially given the referee today was John Moss, and he'd have jumped at the chance to send an Everton player off, as he always does. So I wasn't massively against the James sub. Yes, it's frustrating because you're thinking, right, who comes on and brings what James brings, and then nobody comes on and replaces the quality of James, and I get that. You know, he's the type of player that, you know, we could have a dreadful game for 90 minutes and then in the 91st minute pop up with the winning goal or the equalising goal. I understand all of that, but I honestly think he'd have been sent off. I honestly think he'd have been sent off tonight if he wasn't taken off. So no big issue with it. Again, I feel a little bit sorry for him. Creative wise, but he just didn't do enough for me today, and maybe that's not necessarily his fault, but he just didn't do enough. And then onto the forwards, I've given them both a 3. Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison a 3 again. You might think that's harsh, Cam, they didn't get much, you know, choice, they didn't get much service today, blah blah blah, but they both had a golden chance today. And these are the types of games that, you know, we maybe thought going into this game it'd be 4, 5, 6 and 11 and steamroll Sheffield United. I always thought it'd be a lot closer. Would I have taken 4-5-0? Obviously, but I always felt like this was going to be a 1-0 or a 2-1 or a very close game. And when you've got a free header in the box on Richarlison and he hits it straight at the keeper, and then even worse, Dominic Calvert-Lewin follows up with the rebound and hits it straight at the keeper, that's dreadful for me. That's absolutely dreadful. You can't have your two strikers missing opportunities like that. You simply can't. If you were to show any Everton fan, if you were to say to any Everton fan, right, you don't know the score at the end of the game, but show them 2 chances, they'll have said, we're not scoring. we're not scoring today, because if we can't score them, we're not scoring at all. And that was always the case. I said it at half time. I'm not usually negative, but I tweeted out at half time, this is game, set, match. This is done. We are not getting back into this game. It's done. Regardless of the second half, we're not getting back into it. We could still, I said it after the Villa game, again, we could still be playing the Villa game and we wouldn't have scored in that game. We were never scoring tonight, especially when we went 1-0 down and heads just dropped, because that's it then. The heads drop, the confidence goes, and the spineless, gutless, couldn't care less performance seeps in, and that was what it was tonight. And I think both strikers, although they didn't have an awful lot to feed off, they both had two big chances, one after each other, and they both missed, and that's not good enough. So the pair of them are getting a 3. Onto the bench then, Bernard. Listen, I've actually given Bernard a 6. Again, you might laugh and say, well, what did he do? He didn't do anything more than Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, but I actually think Bernard come on and ran about a bit. I thought he was trying to create. He looked like the only Everton player with a bit of energy on the ball. He looked like he wanted to get forward. He looked like he wanted to do something, create something, hurt Sheffield United. He didn't do any of that, but he at least looked like he wanted to. Gomez is getting a 5. Yeah, come on, touched the ball a few times, made a few passes, was never going to change the game. Don't see the point in him bringing him on. Would rather see Tom Davies come on, but yeah, there you go. And then Gylfi Sigurdsson is getting a 6. Played a really nice ball into Dom, who couldn't get it under his feet quick enough, and ended up, I think his shot was deflected out for a corner. But yeah, I think Gylfi come on and adopted that sort of creative position. And yeah, there was a couple of nice balls he played through that we just couldn't get on the end of. So I don't really blame Gylfi Sigurdsson for any of that. But there you go. Season well and truly done with. I know if we beat City and we beat Wolves and Tottenham drop points and West Ham drop points, then we could still finish in Europe. Honestly, I don't care, and that's what Everton do to you. I really, really don't care. If we finish in Europe this season, I won't be one bit excited, because we don't deserve it. We do not deserve European football. I said it 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago. I said it before the Aston Villa game, actually, the home game. If we can't beat a side like Sheffield United, who've already been relegated, then we don't deserve Europe. And what have we done? We've not only not been able to beat Sheffield United tonight, we've turned up, we've been absolutely embarrassing, pathetic, spineless, gutless, atrocious, and Sheffield United have come with nothing to play for, nothing to lose. They've been free, they've been confident, they've been passionate, they've got at us, they've worked their asses off, they've battled, and we've done the complete opposite. We've had everything to lose, and we've absolutely bottled it. We've bottled it from as soon as we conceded until the last minute. And that's a mentality issue with this football club, and it's a mentality issue that we all thought would have went when we beat Liverpool and Anfield. We all thought went at the start of the season when we beat Spurs away. We all thought it had gone when we beat Arsenal away the other week, but it's still very, very, very much there. It's just changed now from away games against the big clubs to home games against every club, really. That's where the mentality switch has changed. It's gone from bottling it in the big games away from home to just bottling it in every game at home. Like I said, will it ever go? Will we ever be able to shift this mentality of just going 1-0 down and dropping our heads and thinking, right, that's it, game, set, match, we don't have to sign out, because that's all it was tonight. Anyway, look, that's going to do it for the player ratings. If you've enjoyed this, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. You can check out the instant match reaction, very emotional one tonight. And yeah, we'll be back with the game review tomorrow morning. Yeah, season done, over, done with. So I just can't wait for the summer. I'm not asked about the only positive for the Wolves game is that fans are back at Goodison Park, and hopefully there'll be a whole load of Evertonians that can go and experience it. And as I said in the instant match reaction, if you're lucky enough to be one of those fans that gets a ticket to Goodison Park, don't be looking at this game thinking, oh, I don't want to go, we're awful, we're bad. Don't worry about those players on the pitch. In fact, don't care about them, because they don't care about us. They're not interested in finishing for Europe. They're not interested in performing for us. So just get to Goodison Park and relish in the fact that we're back at home, back at Goodison for the first time in, over a year and a half, something like that. And just soak it up. Don't worry about the game. In fact, bring a laptop and a little Wi-Fi connector and put a film on or something. Just appreciate being back at Goodison. The game now is just, it is what it is. It's whatever. It's on in the background. It's a bit of background entertainment you might want to look over and have a little look at while you're just looking around Goodison and appreciating that, we're finally starting to get back there. But yeah, nothing else to play for this season now. It's done for me. There you go. If you've enjoyed the video, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. You can leave a like if you want. You can subscribe if you want as well. Cheers for watching, and yeah, we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues. There you go. What can we say? Should we be surprised? No. it was expected. Writing on the wall that today. Everton turn up and bottle it against the side that have already been relegated for 5 weeks. Absolutely, it's Everton all over. There you go. Nice one for watching, and we'll see you soon.